Hi everybody, my name is Sam, this is Rush Reality, thank you so much for joining me. Now VR has had a bit of a roller coaster start to the year with some real ups and downs. I think it's very important that we get under the skin and try and work out where are we? Is the dream about to go down the pan, or is there some very cool things just around the corner? So what's happened? Well, first I want to talk about Meta's recent decision to slash the price of the Quest Pro. Now we've spoken about the Quest Pro quite a lot on this channel. It's clearly a very good product, but it launched at a really high price, making it only really available to top-end enthusiasts with money to burn, or for developers looking to get in on the ground floor with things like augmented reality and mixed reality. It did seem clear from their original marketing, being very business focused, that they weren't expecting the everyday VR player to go and pick one up. Well, I think the turning point came when HTC announced the Vive XR Elite. They announced a product with very similar features to the Meta Quest Pro for a good few £100 less. Now they're not exactly identical products, they have a very similar chipset, though the Quest Pro's is slightly more powerful. They have similar resolutions, though the Vive XR is slightly higher. The Vive XR comes with a depth sensor, something that was removed at the last minute from the Quest Pro. But for me, the key separator between the two is that the Quest Pro also comes with eye tracking and face tracking, something that's absent from the XR Elite. So overall, there are trading blows, but I feel like the Quest Pro was slightly ahead. Now the XR Elite was clearly advertised to consumers. They made it really clear that it was capable of gaming and in fact created for gaming. Now as the price tag was quite close to that of the Quest Pro, it clearly got a few people at Meta thinking, maybe there is a wider market than we previously thought and we should try and go after these people. So in a win for consumers, they cut the price, clearly showing why competition is important. But is there possibly more to it? Is it possible that Meta didn't sell quite as many headsets as they had planned? Reason why I think there might be, here in the UK you can go into some very standard electronic shops like Currys, PC World, Argos, and you can pick up a Quest Pro directly from the shelf. They clearly made a lot of these things and they put them in a lot of places to try and make them accessible, and they're still there. Maybe they're not selling quite as well as planned. Now I've got a couple of more disappointing things we have to discuss before we jump into the really exciting bit. The first of which is that the Apple VR headset has been further delayed. Industry reporting suggests that this is because the initial units have failed drop tests. Now as somebody who owns an iPhone 14 Pro and has owned many iPhones in the past, I can tell you that their units tend to break when you drop them. My 14 Pro is fairly new and it's cracked on the back. If those are units that pass these stringent drop tests, then what on earth was happening with the headset? At least they should be ironing it out and hopefully we hear something before the year is through. Next up, we had the announcement that Meta is going to be closing down Echo VR this August. That is one of Meta's most successful properties. It's got a massive user base, it's been going for years and people absolutely love it. So it was a big surprise that they've decided to pull support. Even John Carmack, who's only just left Meta, was quick to come out in criticism. He said that he believes they should change direction and try and keep it alive somehow. Maybe they could just slap an unsupported banner on it so people could continue playing but it wouldn't get updates and it would at least continue going until something happens to break it. Or they could make it open source and put it in the hands of the community. These would both bring very little cost for Meta and would keep the property going. One of the biggest criticisms about the state of VR is that there just isn't enough software to support it. We really need games like this being kept alive. There's been lots of stuff that's shut down lately. We heard just a couple of weeks ago that Microsoft's Alt Space is going to cease to exist going forwards, and that Microsoft was scaling back their XR team. That's not the kind of news we want. Now these things always come in phases, the teams shrink and the teams grow, and hopefully things always push forwards. But it's still not good to hear. So it's about time we looked on the bright side. What has been happening to really push things forwards? Well, we had some very exciting news this week as Samsung announced that they were looking to step back into the VR field. They are due to be teaming up with Qualcomm and Google to develop some VR hardware. They were quite tight-lipped about what exactly it would involve, but they did say that they would be making the hardware, that Google would be working on the software and Qualcomm would provide the chipset. They described it as their next generation and said that they've been working hard on both VR and AR. That is very cool news. Those are names that were in on the ground floor of VR but have really stepped back in the past few years. So it is awesome to hear that they're going to be working on something, and hopefully they've been working hard in the background and are going to be coming out with something very compelling. In other good news, we had confirmation direct from Meta that the Quest 3 will be coming later this year, and it will feature full colour pass-through, meaning it could offer similar experiences to that of the Quest Pro, taking full advantage of mixed reality. That might be something to bear in mind for anyone getting tempted by the now lower price of the Quest Pro. We know the Quest 3 is coming soon and it will feature many of the same capabilities. Though we did get further confirmation from Meta, this time from Andrew Bosworth, that the Quest 3 won't feature eye tracking or face tracking, and in fact that won't come to their consumer line for quite some time. It's just too expensive to build in that many sensors, though it is something that they are very firmly focused on in the long run. And lastly, Sony have been out showing off the PlayStation VR 2 playing Gran Turismo 7. They've got it in the hands of many people and the reviews have been absolutely fantastic. IGN said it was incredible, people have been raving about the graphics and saying how good it was that the full game was playable in VR. Now you do have to take these early glimpses with a pinch of salt. These are people that have been given advance notice by one of the biggest companies in the world, and you know what? They're going to want it to happen again. So they don't want to risk that by criticising too much and not getting invited back from Sony. So if you really want to know how good it is, you're going to need to wait for the core VR community to get their hands on it. My pre-order is in, hopefully I'll be hearing soon and I'll be able to tell you exactly what it's like. So there you have it, it's been an interesting start to the year, lots of twists and lots of turns, but hopefully we're going to keep going in the right direction. If you've enjoyed this video, then do us a favour, press the like button, and I would love to see you on the next one. Thank you very much. Goodbye.